Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, you have to keep going. You must keep showing up for yourself. And this video that I'm making today, I'm speaking to myself more than I'm speaking to any of you who are listening to this. But I know that this is a message that if you're watching this, you need to hear it as well. This video almost didn't even get made today because I woke up and it was just so cold. The temperature really dropped overnight. I knew that my diesel heater was running low, so I was going to have to change that. And then I wasn't feeling a lot of energy. I started feeling a little bit of nausea after I ate my breakfast. Just so many things that were happening where I just kept saying, oh, well, it's Sunday and you've done, 4 or 5 videos this week. Actually, don't even know how many videos I posted this week, but I think 4 or 5. But anyway, the number of videos I posted this week and, you can skip Sunday, like Sunday's a day of rest and, all of these things. And I was just like, but I have to do a video today. And it's so funny because my intention and my goal with showing up for myself more on this platform was not to post every single day. I talked about, in my first video of like it's called A New Era, showing up for my dreams. I think that's the title. I talked about, Glow Atonmo and how she posts every single day on YouTube. And that was never my intention to show up every single day. My goal was to post 3 days a week. But so far I've been posting every day and it's only been about, 4 or 5 days at this point, but it's been feeling really good. And now that I'm starting to create this momentum and I'm already seeing results of this momentum, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later, it's so hard for me to just say, no, you don't need to film a video today. I'm like, no, I do need to get up and film a video today. Even if this is the only thing that I do today and I rest the rest of the day, I want to get this done. And so sharing this with you today, this message of keep going, even when life is hard, especially when life is hard, it's because so many of you out there are going through such powerful, incredible, painful, difficult transitions right now in your life. And for some of us, we've been going through this for years, maybe even our entire lifetime. And it's easy to say, just keep going, don't stop. Your breakthrough is here. You're on the precipice of something magical. But when you don't have as much evidence for it, that's when it can be really, really challenging for a lot of people and challenging for myself as well. Something that I've been going through over these last 4 years that's been really, like I've had moments where it was really hard for me to keep moving forward was I lost my job, in 2022. Some of you are familiar with the story, some of you aren't, but I was starring on a television show called Run the World on Starz. And I'm an actress, by the way. It's one of the things that I do in this beautiful life that I have is working as an actress. And that's something that I've done for about 20 years. And I got fired from my show at the beginning of 2022 due to the COVID vaccination mandates that were happening all across Hollywood. I chose not to take the COVID vaccination because of my spiritual and religious beliefs. And it created this cascade of outcomes and consequences that I'm still living through and healing from and navigating and figuring out in my life. And that decision to choose myself, to honor myself, to, embark on a path of sovereignty and freedom has cost me a lot. And there have been so many times when I have felt despair and despondency and have wanted to give up and have questioned my choices and, have just felt really down on myself and saying, fuck it, like I don't want to do this anymore. And every time I got into those spaces, there was just always this voice in the back of my mind reminding me that I'm here for something great. I'm here for a very powerful purpose, for my soul mission. And I talk about the soul's mission all of the time because sometimes our soul's mission, doesn't come to us until we don't recognize what our soul's mission is until we're in a space of struggle, a space of deep difficulty and initiation into something much more powerful than we had imagined. And when I began this process after losing my job, I'd already kind of started laying the groundwork prior to that because I was just watching what was happening in the world, spiritually, politically, economically, and started making some changes to my life in order to accommodate this new path that I was feeling and sensing, but I wasn't sure exactly what that would look like. And one of the things that I had been asking God for up until this moment of me losing my job and having my entire life sort of upended was I was asking God for freedom. That was something that I had been praying about a lot. Freedom, sovereignty. Sovereignty more than anything was the word that I was using a lot. And when I lost my job, it really forced me to step into the reality that I had been praying for and the reality that I had been calling in. Because, being in Hollywood or really any industry where you're dependent upon an employer, you're dependent upon someone cutting a check for you or giving you a job or agreeing to your payment terms, it can feel very, very disempowering sometimes, especially as an actor where you're auditioning constantly. If you're lucky, if you have good representation and you have the right look and you have, all of the stars are aligning and you're getting the opportunity to audition often, then you're showing up to, it's just like having job interview after job interview after job interview after job interview. Your entire life is basically interviewing for a job. And then you get to be on set for a day or a week or a couple of months, or if you're very, very fortunate, a couple of years before that job ends, and then it's time to find the next one. And I just was feeling very disempowered by that system of somebody else needing to say yes to me in order for me to feel sovereign or to call in money to support myself. And so that's one of the reasons why I was really asking for more sovereignty. I had no idea what that was going to look like. I had a sense that I would be going into the spiritual healing work that I'm doing, working in the spiritual healing arts, but I didn't know that it would look the way that it looks today. But it was something that was really speaking to me from at least a subconscious level. And when I started having the difficulty that comes from getting fired from a job where you were living in a major city, all of your bills are paid, you have more than enough money, more than enough income, to embarking on my journey of building my bus and becoming a nomad and traveling the country and not knowing where my next check was going to come from and beginning to build a business, it just sent me into a state of flux and a state of really feeling ungrounded and unmoored that I have been navigating for the last almost 4 years come February 2026. And I'm finally starting to feel like I'm in a place where I have my feet under me and I'm feeling more grounded. I'm feeling more confident about showing up in this work, and I'm making more money than I have before in my business and just finding more success as a projector, which has been feeling really, really wonderful. But it's taken some time for me to get here. And in those moments when I was suffering and crying and angry and feeling victimized and just depressed about my life circumstances, when I would get encouraged to keep going, I would sometimes say to myself, but how much longer? How much longer do I have to keep going? How much longer do I have to keep struggling through this? And I had that same experience when I was coming up as an actor, and I was just auditioning and auditioning and auditioning before, I got my big breaks on NCIS LA and then on Run the World. How much longer can I wait tables? How much longer can I keep doing this? How much longer can I be in this frequency, and can I be in this energy? And then all of a sudden the breakthrough comes. The booking happens, or the client signs up, or you get the dream job, or you get the partnership for content creation, or whatever it is that you are moving towards and calling in for yourself. That moment is coming. It's just a matter of you staying connected to yourself, staying present, and continuing to show up for yourself in the ways that you were meant to in order for you to access the reality that you're attempting to align with. Because it's not about, when we talk about manifestation and calling things in, you're not really like changing reality, you're just aligning to the correct reality, because there are infinite realities, infinite dimensions, infinite timelines that are all happening simultaneously. And the reality, the dimension, the timeline that holds your desires is existing on a certain frequency. And your job is to align with that frequency so that all of a sudden you're like, oh, here I am. I've arrived. I'm in that timeline. I'm in that frequency. And when you get to that point and you start to experience the evidence of what it is that you've been dreaming about and what you've been calling in, what you've been manifesting, what you've been taking action towards, it's a really, really beautiful thing. The challenge is to keep moving forward even when you don't have the evidence in front of you. And so for those of you who are in that space of questioning, well, how can I keep going when I don't see any evidence around me, or I don't, I haven't had that breakthrough yet, or I'm at my wit's end, I'm at the end of my rope. How do I keep going? And what I have experienced for myself, what I teach, what I work with my clients on is getting to recognize and excavate the gift in what it is that you're going through, the gift in what it is that you're experiencing, because every experience and circumstance that we go through as humans is perfectly designed for our soul's evolution. It's perfectly designed for what it is that we need to do as far as our soul's work goes, like our personal soul's work, not our mission of service for others. Well, it's connected to that as well, but specifically for our soul's work and our soul's evolution, there is a gift in what it is that you are experiencing. And so for me, some of the gifts, or at least one of the gifts that I have recognized about this period of being unemployed as an actor and, feeling sort of shut out of my industry and building a business as someone in the spiritual healing arts whose mission of service is to women and helping women rise into consciousness of our power and our divinity and our ability to create and co-create with the other women that are waking up in the collective. Some of my lessons or the gifts of this experience has been to really like go all in on myself and to fully trust myself. How can I say that I'm craving sovereignty and craving freedom if I'm not really viewing myself as an entrepreneur, viewing myself as a businesswoman? And that this is an identity that I've had to really shift into lately, because I realized that I wasn't viewing myself from that lens. I was still sort of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I had to just commit to this identity, commit to the identity of being an entrepreneur, being a businesswoman, being a woman who creates my own money through my offers, who says, I have this creation, this offering that's flowing through me. And so let me take action on it and honor the divine voice of God that is flowing through my body and put this out into the world so that I can receive the feedback. And sometimes the feedback is no one signs up, or a few people sign up, but then something happens with your technology. So there's always going to be little obstacles and things that come up when you are going through this process, but staying grounded in the gift, the lesson of your evolution, is what keeps you present in navigating the difficult circumstances that you're in, navigating through those trials and tribulations that you're inevitably going to go through, and that you should really be thankful for, because those trials and tribulations are what are stretching you. They are what's evolving you, growing you, expanding you into the person that you are designed to be, that you are meant to be, as it relates to your soul's mission. And so that gift of recognizing where I'm not showing up for myself, where I'm not taking myself as seriously, that where I'm not fully committed to the dream, fully committed to the passion, like how can I want other people to be committed to my vision and connected to my vision and inspired by my vision if I'm not connected to and committed to and inspired by my own vision? And so those are those moments when things are really challenging, where we have to pause and we have to ask ourselves, what is this moment asking of me? What is this moment revealing to me about myself? What is this moment and this circumstance offering me for my evolution? And if you haven't given yourself the space to really sit in contemplation of those questions and to feel into and receive the answers, that's one of the reasons why you're going to continue to have a much harder time navigating the difficult experience that you might be going through right now, or have gone through in the past, or will go through in the futures, because you don't recognize that this moment that you're in is a beautiful space to be in for your evolution. And so it's about asking that question, what is the gift here? And trusting that if I know that there's a gift in the difficulty that I'm experiencing, even if I don't have the evidence that what I'm doing is working, I can keep moving forward. I can keep pushing forward. I can keep taking those steps, seeing what happens, analyzing the data that I'm getting from the actions that I'm taking or the actions that I'm not taking that feedback, making the necessary adjustments and shifts, and then moving from that place, and then getting the feedback, getting the data, getting the intel, making the necessary adjustments, and then moving forward from that place. This is the most simple and streamlined way of navigating this process. Is it easy? No. Nothing that I teach is easy, but it's always going to be simple for you. And this is something that I have been really, really leaning into in my work, in my spiritual practice, in my personal life, when it comes to socializing, everything. And it has made such a massive difference. And so for me, that's why despite some of the challenges that I had today of, feeling kind of tired and lethargic, having some nausea after my breakfast, my diesel heater running out of diesel and having to go get that filled up. And then, all of the things that happened that, of the previous version of me, the previous identity that I held would have just said, oh, well, it's not meant to be. I'm just not meant to film this video today. And then I wouldn't have filmed the video. And then I would have been feeling like, a little bit of guilt or a little bit of shame, or just feeling down on myself. Like, oh, why didn't you do it? Like, you should have done the video. You should have gotten up and done it. Why didn't you do it? Okay, I'll do it tomorrow. But it's like, but I have today. I only have this moment right now. And so I really wanted to share this with you all today and like I said, push through like some of that resistance that comes up, because that's also what happens when you are stepping into a new identity, when you're evolving, is those old patterns, those old ways of thinking, those old ways of responding to the stimuli of your environment will pop up. Even when you start setting new standards for yourself, they'll pop up to kind of challenge you or to test you or to say, well, where are you today? Who are you today? How are you going to show up today? What are you going to do? And I'm not saying that when your body is really craving rest, like when you really need rest, to not listen to that, because I'm a projector in human design. We need a lot of rest. We don't have that defined sacral center. And so it's very, very important. But there's a difference between recognizing that genuine need of rest within yourself, or where you're just feeling the stretching of the new identity, where you're feeling just a little pulled out of your comfort zone by this new identity. And are you going to collapse inward and revert back to those old patterns? Or are you going to say, this is actually the opportunity for me to lean into this difficulty, lean into this challenge, and see what I'm made of, see who I really am, and decide for myself the choice that I made before about this new identity that I'm shifting into. Am I really committed to this? Am I really connected to this purpose? Am I really connected to this phase of evolution that I'm moving through and maneuvering through? And that's what all of those moments are for you when you're going through these difficulties and you're going through these challenges. And for me, what's been so beautiful and so affirming about me stepping into this space is the feedback that I'm getting already after just leaning into showing up on YouTube every single day. So last Monday, today is the What's today? So today is the 14th, Sunday the 14th. On the 8th, I launched my Selfish Bitch initiation and been showing up on social media, marketing that, getting, the seats filled for that. And then I started posting on YouTube this week as well. And even though I've only posted a handful of videos, I've already gotten multiple signups from my YouTube channel for my Selfish Bitch initiation, which is currently in the early bird stages of the doors being open. I had a comment that a woman left on one of my videos from a couple of days ago where she said to me that she signed up for my initiation after watching one video from me on YouTube. One video. And this was the comment that she left the video on, was the second video of mine that she watched. And I read that comment and it touched me so deeply because in my mind, I was like, okay, well, let me just experiment with this, see how this feels. But it's not about getting, excuse me, I just hit my straw. It's not about getting the signups. It's not about making money. I started doing this for myself, to show up for myself and to commit and deepen my devotion to myself, to deepen my trust in myself. And just within a couple of days, I'm making more money on this platform. And so I wanted to share that win with you, that victory with you of how, when you are having those difficult moments and you're shifting into a new identity and you're committing to yourself to show up for yourself, you will receive feedback. It may not necessarily be a booking with a client or anything like that. It might just be somebody watching your content or leaving a beautiful comment saying how what you shared with them really touched their heart and brought them into deeper connection with themselves. And that's some of the feedback that I've been getting from my videos. I've been getting comments from people that are saying, "Oh my God, thank you so much for this," or "I watched this early in the morning and I signed right up." I think I've had a couple signups. There's another comment that I read that I haven't gotten to respond to yet, where I believe another woman said the same thing. And so like that feedback, you'll start receiving that feedback pretty quickly. It may not be that within a couple of days, but you will receive that feedback very, very quickly to help you navigate staying on that same exact course that you're on, or making those slight shifts that you need to make in order for you to feel like what you're doing is aligned with where you're meant to be going. And so I would love to know, drop down in the comments and let me know how this video landed for you. How did this message land for you? How do you feel after listening to this, especially if you have been going through a lot of difficulty, if you've been feeling like, I can't do this anymore. I'm not getting the evidence of my work. I'm ready to give up. Let me know how this landed for you and the tips that I've given you around asking the question of what is the gift in what I'm experiencing right now? What is the gift that is helping me expand? What is the gift in this that's helping me evolve? Where am I not honoring myself? Where am I not fully showing up for myself? Where am I not fully devoted to myself? Because I can guarantee you there are spaces where you can be stretching out of your comfort zone, where you can be challenging yourself to give more to yourself and give more to others, so that you can start receiving and experiencing the feedback and the evidence of the beautiful works that you are putting into your soul's mission. So let me know in the comments how that landed for you, what this is bringing up for you, what you're moving into, what you're moving through. I want to hear all of it. And if you would like to go deeper with me, my Selfish Bitch initiation, which starts on January 7th, is currently still in the early bird phases of the doors being open. I'm filling up these spaces. It's going to be a 21-day immersion where I take you through the trajectory of letting the good girl, the obedient girl, lay to rest, so that the sovereign woman, the selfish bitch archetype, can rise. So this is going to be for the women who are people pleasers, eldest daughters, the parentified children, women who have poor boundaries in their relationships or poor boundaries with men, women who identify as empaths and attract lots of narcissists, people who are growing their business, who want to understand their relationships better, who want to heal themselves in their relationships. We're going to be going through a really beautiful 21-day journey where we're going to have 2 calls per week for 3 weeks. And I'm going to walk you through the initiation of letting go of this good girl persona that has held you back from being in your fullest expression to being the sovereign woman who shows up for herself and is devoted to herself and receives the feedback and the abundance that comes from being sovereign and fully devoted to herself and her soul's mission first. So I'm going to drop the link down in the comments. The link is also in the description box if you would like to sign up for that. Like I said, it's still in the early bird phases. The full exchange for this immersion by the time we start on January 7th will be $777. But right now it's $222. So this current early bird pricing is for the woman who doesn't hesitate. It's for the woman who, like the example I gave, watched one video for me, heard what resonated in her spirit, and immediately signed up so that she can get more of this beautiful magic. And as always, I'm here if you have any questions, if you have any comments, feel free to send me a comment here in the comments on this video, or you can DM me on Instagram, or you can send me an email at andrea@goddessvibes.com. I love you all so much, and I'm so grateful for you being here. And like I said at the beginning, just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Your breakthrough is already here. It's just waiting for you to align to the same frequency, okay? Have a beautiful day. I'll see you soon, maybe tomorrow. Bye.